You said no role for Assad, even in a transitional, limited basis for a new future for Syria, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Does this administration believe currently there is a viable, cohesive transitional government ready to go?
Well, I think this...
Because there is ample evidence of discord, disarray, disagreement among those who are broadly defined as the opposition.
There's no doubt that there are a lot of people with differing views about what the future of Syria should look like. I think there is broad agreement from a lot of people, not everybody, but I think most people agree that Assad does need to go. And so brokering that transition is the first step. But setting up a transitional government would be the next one, and we would have to work with all parties. So
right, but one does not. There's not one ready to go.
This is a work in progress.
You would agree?
Well, I would acknowledge that what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to work with even the disparate elements of the opposition. They don't all get along, right? That there are differences.
To put it
of
mildly.
Opinion. They have differences of opinion as well about what the future of that country should look like. But what this administration and what our allies and partners in the region are committed to is ensuring that we can broker a political transition in that country. That's the only way we're going to put an end to the violence, and that's the only way we're going to make sure that we have a government in that country that reflects the will of the Syrian people.
But is it a credible policy for this government to say Assad can not even have a transitional role? There has to be an immediate move to a transitional government that doesn't even exist.
I mean, you are talking about President Assad, who has used weapons of war against his own people to slaughter tens of thousands of innocent people.
It's not a defense of Assad to ask that question.
It's not, but I'd be hard-pressed to make the case to you that he should have a role in a transitional government. This is a guy who has demonstrated his willingness to slaughter without any conscience innocent people by the thousands.
Then what?
So I guess.
Right. Then what accounts for the inability to put together a transitional government, if that's the highest priority?
Sure. Well, I think the highest priority is to get Assad out of power so that he can no longer have his hands on the weapons of war that are being used to slaughter thousands of people. I think that is the highest priority. You know, another priority is making sure the humanitarian needs of the people who have been displaced by this violence are met. So that's why we're mobilizing significant resources on behalf of, in support of our partners to try to meet that humanitarian need. You know, we're also trying to build up the Syrian opposition forces by providing some non-lethal aid, so that they have the resources that they need to better fight the regime forces. So there are a lot of things that are urgent priorities in this situation. That's what happens in a crisis. But there is no doubt that it is going to take a lot of work. That's not just going to be the responsibility of the United States, but the responsibility of other interested partners to try to broker some agreement, not just between the Assad regime and the opposition, but also among elements of the opposition. This is hard work. This is not going to be an easy step, but you know, all of these steps are hard. But this administration is committed to doing it, both because of our concerns about the humanitarian situation there, but also because of the broader destabilizing impact that this conflict is having throughout the region, and the questions that poses for the security of our allies in that region and the security of the United States.